Welcome back to another video, my friends. I hope everybody enjoyed the striker breakdown that we did of CR7 and all that stuff. Today, we will be breaking down defense. By the end of this video, every single one of you watching this will be a better defender, and that is regardless of if you play striker, center midfielder, or goalie. We're going to break down some things. Instead of actually just looking at the video, we are going to break it down, take some stuff from it, and be able to use it in the game. Let's go. All right, so before we get going, I want each and every one of you guys to go right down below, click the link to GOLUREMI'S Nation. That is Fight Club for Footballers. That is the place where we have unlisted training videos, unlisted programs, unlisted interviews with players from La Liga, EPL, Serie A. All that stuff is there, and we are not going to accept everyone. Not because we don't want to, but because space is limited, and right now it is free. It is the most baller place for you as a player to get better, to learn, and enjoy the game. So go now, click on that link, put your email in. That's all you got to do right now. Let's go. Becoming a good defender is crucial. It is a very useful skill. So we are going to break down Virgil van Dijk, one of the world's greatest defenders. We're going to break down why exactly no one beat him for an entire year 1v1, because there's plenty that we can learn here. It's not just we want to see that he's big and strong and can jump high and run fast. There's more to it, obviously, than his physical presence. And that's exactly what we're going to break down here so you guys can take this and use it in the game. All right. So in this first challenge, who is that? Sterling? Not entirely sure. But as you can see, as he's coming in, he manhandles the dude, which is never, as a small guy, do you ever want to be getting into this type of 50-50 challenge. You usually want to avoid them. It's just smarter. A little throwback real quick. When we were playing against AC Milan, I went into a tackle. Actually, as a matter of fact, the whistle was blown. So something happened. I don't know. There was a foul called. The ball bounced out. Now, there was about to be a 50-50 tackle with a guy who you guys do not know. Most of you do not know. But his name was Jaap Stam. And we will put him up on screen. Clearly I lack words in how to describe how big this dude was. He eventually got caught for steroids, I believe, or some form of a performance-enhancing drug. He was huge, dude. He was huge. And we went into this tackle that I should not have done. I was 19 and was not 7 feet tall and 380 pounds like he was. And he rocked me. So, yeah. All right, so what we see here in this clip looks like he's playing against Tottenham. This is Liverpool-Tottenham, maybe. As a defender, you have to absolutely know when to step in. This is by far one of the most important things as a defender. You cannot always drop. Your base mode should be to contain. It should always be to contain. It should not be to dive in. But what he does here is, as you can see, as he's getting attacked, he's waiting, he's containing. He's literally the last man in this sense, and he's running backwards, okay? But what happens is Song, I think it is, takes a very heavy touch right there before he's looking to shoot, and he knows that this is when he can step. And I want you guys to notice how he steps in, because it's pretty unorthodox. I mean, the guy basically throws his entire body, and you'll notice a pattern that we're going to talk about is that he reaches out when he realizes the moment, boom, he stops, reaches out with the outside of his foot. But he also makes sure to put his body in front of Song so nothing else can happen. It's as if to say, I know that first off, I can get the ball. Once I can get the ball, I need to obstruct his body. It's not just, you guys have to understand that as a defender, it's not always your job just to take the ball. It's also your job to prevent play from evolving. And so by putting his body in front of Song like this, he can stop everything that's going to happen, because he's going to have to shift. He's going to have to move. He's going to have to bounce off him, all that stuff. In this instance, he obviously just takes him out, and there's no foul. There's no foul. Everybody knows. You can see the replay. He reaches in for the ball. He uses the outside of his foot, which is a very unorthodox way of doing it, because your foot is dangling and exposed. But he knows if he can put his body behind it, he should be okay, which is what happened. Great tackle. So as a center back or a defender, you also need to know when to step in when passes are getting played. And that's what we're going to have a look at here. So there are going to be times when you want to rush in, and there are going to be times when you want to sit back. Now, what we can see here is that when he knows an attacking player is facing away from goal. All right. So that might even be Jamie Vardy. I don't know, but, or maybe this is Everton. The point is that this attacking player does not see Virgil. He doesn't see him at all. And so that's his advantage. Most of the time, attackers will look, they'll know. And that's when you can get caught. Because if you think he doesn't know you're coming and you rush in and boom, he turns a little bit, or he lets the ball go, something like that, you're at a loss. So be smart and really try and understand, does this attacking player know where I'm coming from? Can I change the angle that I go at in order to make things hard on him? That's the worst as a striker. Like when I play number 9 and the defender is always popping up in places where I don't know, that can be an issue. So as he makes this, you can see that he realizes it's kind of a 50-50 ball. It's not a horrible ball, but Virgil was ready the entire time. And so he knows he can really make this step in and reach with the outside of his foot, once again, stopping the play. So now that we've actually established a few things and a few key points on what you guys actually should be looking for as defenders, we're going to talk about this outside of the foot tackle that he loves. All right. So watch him. The more you can watch him, I think he might be injured right now, but the more you watch him, the more you will see this. And we're going to explain why and how you can do this. So this is a perfect clip for this. Looks like against Newcastle maybe, or West Brom. He's coming from behind. And this is something that you guys are going to be able to use in order to regain possession of the ball, because it's not enough always just to stop a defender. You sometimes want to regain possession of the ball. So instead of shoving this guy or continuing to run and chase with him, once he sees a big touch, and you guys are noticing a theme, when to step in, when they take that big touch. It's not when they're doing the step overs. It's not that. It's when the attacking player decides, I'm going to take ground, or I'm going to beat this guy after my step over, I'm going to explode. You know, there are key points where you can up the percentage and chance of you winning the ball, and you need to strike then. Okay. So as that guy takes that big touch, he realizes that's the time to step in. He moves in and literally hooks. It's a hook. He hooks the ball like that and he takes it. So that's huge. So I want to make a quick point about his size, because many of you guys probably aren't as big as he is, but you can still do the same thing because it's about positioning. It's not necessarily about his size. It does help him. It helps. He probably wins more of the battles because of his size, but it's his positioning. That's why he's good. If he was just a big dude, it wouldn't work, you guys. He's learned other things. It's like Ibrahimovic is a huge guy. He could probably have been a great striker just because he's tall, but he can do everything with his feet that he can. The guy's flexible, he can bend over backwards and do all the crazy stuff, okay? So make sure to take these points seriously. What you notice here, and I think this is against Willian, the Kalu or Kante actually passes the ball past this defender. It's kind of a behind the defense, behind the back four pass, which is normally a little bit of a dangerous pass, even though they're moving away from goal. All right. So because he's moving away from goal, he should be cautious of what to do. But what you'll notice is that rather than actually letting the ball run or doing all this stuff, he positions himself on the inside, using his shoulder to guide the ball out. There's nothing he can do, and it's not a foul. Despite all the Chelsea fans screaming for that, Willian does not have position on the ball. So that principle always reigns true, you guys. Get position on. Let me see if there's no replay here, but make sure that you can establish that positioning first. If you can do that, you've saved all of this trouble. So always look to be doing that, especially when balls are getting played in. If a ball gets played over the top, the first thing that you should be doing is looking to, can I get my shoulder up against this guy to actually stop anything that's happening? That's first, okay? So balls played in over the top, you turn and run. Balls played in behind you, turn and find the attacking player. Put your body there, because guys, if you just turn and run, you're leaving too much to chance, okay? So as a defender, you want to control as much as you possibly can, and looking and finding the attacking player, giving him a bump. All right, so I want to make sure that we touch on two very important key points: how to deal with speed and how to deal with skill. So how to deal with a player that is for sure faster than you, and how to deal with a player that is very, very skillful. So we're going to take a look at Mr. Mbappe here, because I'm pretty sure nobody's faster than this guy at the moment. Maybe there are guys faster than him, but Jesus. Okay, so let's have a look at, I think this is a Nations League game. We have Mbappe with, this is the worst place to be as a defender, when an attacking player is running at you full speed and there's space behind you, okay? And you are running backwards. All right. It's the worst position to be in. So let's take a look at how he deals with this successfully to get out of it. All right. So Mbappe is charging at him full speed. He stops a little bit to cut inside, and then immediately he starts to make his break to the outside. And what did we say? Once they start to decide, I'm going to separate from you, this is when you need to attack. All right. So he starts to do this. And what did we talk about? One of the first things we talked about is get body on the attacking player. So that's what he does. He reaches out for Mbappe. He still isn't able to contain him, because you've seen in some of the other clips is that when he goes to reach the attacking player, they slow down. It throws them off. You know, these other guys are not slow. So that's the thing. But Mbappe is still too fast for him. So he's still going to win on the foot race. And actually he does. So right now we've got it paused. Mbappe's foot is in the air. He is getting ready to shoot. So he understands that it is dangerous for him to do, or it's dangerous for him to actually get off this shot. So he's got a lunge. Now, how does he know that his lunge is going to be successful and that he's not going to be able to cut back? It's because of the body. It's because of the angle. It's because Mbappe is kind of off balance now. He didn't give him what he wanted. All right. So now, because he's done that, he can do, once again, outside of the foot, the leg that's closest, he reaches out, he can stop the shot. Nothing, no problem. So as you can see in the replay, it's those first few touches. It's not a foul. You can reach out, you can touch the guy, you can do all this stuff. Don't grab. If you grab, you're going to get in trouble. All right. Or the guy can fall, but a little touch here, just in contact, shoulder to shoulder, no problem there. All right. So guys with speed, as soon as they break out, immediately go for their body. If you don't go for their body, when they take that touch away from you, you're screwed, because they're going to take off with speed. All right. So that's how to deal with speed in general. All right. Now, we move immediately on to Neymar, who is one of the most skillful players, maybe even of all time. All right. And you can see that Virgil is behind right now. He's playing cover. So he's probably talking to this guy saying, push him wide, you know, or push him inside because we have a lot of help and cover, whatever. He's giving him instructions. Now, from this position, it'd probably be best that the guy does go outside. You know, we don't want him to take a shot. We can contain him, all that stuff. The back line is very flat. There's one attacking player who looks like he's in an offsides position right now. All right. So as we hit play, we see Neymar starts to go inside. Everybody starts to move inside. And then he cuts and destroys that first guy. He's gone, you know, so one defender, boom. Virgil immediately has to cover for him. All right. So as he does, you'll see that Neymar now, unlike Mbappe, knows that he actually is in a very good position because nobody's touched him, none of this stuff, and he's not going to get off a shot. Virgil's got it covered. But as we have it paused here, as you can see, he's Cruyffing kind of a Cruyff chop to pull back. Virgil realizes this in the last second and leaves a trailing foot. This is actually kind of dangerous, you guys, because if Neymar doesn't pull back, if Neymar somehow cleanly gets the ball to go behind him and not to touch his leg, it's a foul and it's a penalty. All right, exactly what Neymar, you know, the best thing he could hope for in this position. But because he's got a trailing leg here and he understands that I'm going down, you know, I'm going down right now, but I can still use my trailing leg to do that. You guys can do this all the time, but you have to know that you've cut off the shot. If you see a guy deciding to cut, you leave that trailing leg, but this one is definitely dangerous. Be careful with this, especially in the box. This is not something that you're going to want to try if you haven't done it before. All right. But because you know you can reach for the ball, that's your key to it. So I don't want to say to scare you guys off completely. The key here is only to get the ball a little bit, any part of the ball. If you can do that, you're good. You're golden. All right. You don't have to worry about anything, but be careful with the trailing leg because it's also possible that you are off balance. And because you're off balance, you might kick them. Okay. So you definitely made sure to take Neymar down, which is not a foul. And it's something as a defender, you have to know. You do have to take the ball most of the time, but you also need to, he can't go forward. All right. You guys have heard the cliche, ball or the man, never both, but that is the rule. This dude can't go by. That's his job. All right. So don't be afraid to body some players, but don't just think, oh, I'm just going to go crush everybody. Like that'll also get you into trouble. So, all right, that's the vid. Love you guys as always. Make sure to subscribe, hit like, tell us who we should break down next. Check out 11th Commandment, our second channel where we've got our podcast, The Way of Will John and Biscuits and Tea podcast with B. Millie, GK Goluremi. Make sure to go to GK Goluremi. You guys can watch us learn how to, let's be honest, we're revolutionizing the goalkeeper position. If you've not seen the video on modern goalkeeping, we'll put that down in the link, or sorry, in the description box. You guys can check that out. Goluremi Nation, out.
The young influence, adolescent presence, I'm succumbing to it. I've been giving yeses when I shouldn't do it. I complete ejected, but the moves elusive and I'm barely moving, but I'm still gon' boost 'em. I can't work on winning.